Hello there, my name's Dane Lemaitre and welcome to the review. And this is a review on the Hornby Toby in the Thomas the Tank Engine range. This isn't the only model of Toby that I've got. I've also got the Bachmann Toby, as you've probably seen some of my other videos. And I think for different reasons they're both quite good models. However, I do actually prefer the Bachmann one. And the face on the Bachmann one looks a lot like Toby's TV series model in the model series. And so does the face on this one, but a slightly different face, I'm sure you'll agree. Now, this model Toby, it's quite interesting. Some of the models that Hornby have produced, like Percy and Bill and Ben, are scratch-built models, and so is this model of Toby. And because of that, Toby's actually very, very big, and he's actually taller than some of the engines. And with this model of Toby, you have problems getting him in sheds and past platforms, where with the back model of Toby, and also Bill and Ben as well, you don't get that problem. I say it's only with this one because it's so wide and so tall. So the size is a bit of a problem, and obviously the fact that it's quite tall. Also, if you look at the roof, it's more of a cream sort of colour, and the belt's also been painted yellow, whereas again, going back to the Bachmann one, which I have reviewed before, it's more of a brass colour, but there is some nice touches like like the lamp, and I have to admit as well, with the wood, it doesn't look quite as good on this one as the back model. Also the same with his number 7, it doesn't look quite like the 7 on Toby. Also with the handrails as well. But you know, this is one of my childhood favourites, I think it's fair to say. I think it's fair to say that in the Railway series, Toby looks a lot different, mainly because he is a different sort of livery. And another thing as well I noticed is throughout the TV series, the colour of his woodwork does change and sort of gets darker, lighter. You've probably also seen that they do Toby in the G-scale range. And again, that model of Toby is a really good one. And also the face on that one is very similar to Toby's face in the TV series, but in the CGI series. So there's a look at the front of Toby. Again, pretty good. It used to come with really big couplings, but they both broke off. So my brother fitted some smaller ones, as you can see here. There's one in the back. And if you look underneath, this model of Toby has side rods on it, whereas the back one didn't. And also, there's another engine that has cowcatchers and side plates, Mavis, who's a diesel engine. Though in some episodes, when her wheels are spinning, you can sort of see that she has them. And there's also a couple of episodes where you see, shall I say, up Toby's, I suppose his skirt, as it's called, his side plates. I mean, men don't really wear skirts, but obviously they wear kilts. But yeah. So I suppose we can't really say that Toby doesn't have side rods. But yeah. This model of Toby of mine was packed away for quite a while. However, the other day I got it out again. Obviously the same with James, the red engine, as I discussed before. But yeah, it was really nice to have it out again, and this Toby runs really well indeed, I'm sure you'll agree. as you know, Toby also has a coach called Henrietta, which I have in the Bachmann range. When being pulled by this model, it looks very strange indeed, because there is a huge scale difference, mainly because this is 00 and the Bachmann range is HO, which is American. And there's not a huge amount of difference really, but it all depends on which size of model. But also this model is exceptionally tall for what it is, hence why it probably doesn't look as good as the Bachmann Toby pulling Henrietta. Yeah, Henrietta, the Bachmann model's a bit strange now, because Henrietta never used to have a face on her, but then ever since the CGI series they did give her a face. So I suppose now is the time to give this Toby a score. I suppose you could say the truth about Toby. But I think I'd give this model a 7 out of 10, because it's not quite perfect to give a 10 out of 10 compared to the Bachmann one, but it is still a very, very good model, and I do really like it indeed. And I say it obviously was part of my childhood. Another thing that's worth mentioning is if you look underneath, some of the models, like Stepney here, as you can see, say underneath the year they were made. Now Toby does, but it's in black lettering. You might just about be able to see there. I can probably see better than you can, but it's in black that this was made in 2001. And I got this model of Toby from a shop in Wellingborough called T&R Models, which unfortunately isn't there anymore because the owner's retired. There is another model shop in Wellingborough now, and then obviously in the surrounding towns, like in Rushden, you've got Osborne's. They've got quite a few nice model railway bits in there. There's also a shop called the Model Shop, which is in Northampton, where I got Murdoch from. So yeah, there's still a few model shops around, but there's not as many around as there used to be, unfortunately. And I mean, in this day and age, with like a recession and people buying over the internet, there's no saying how much longer they'll be around, I'm afraid to say, really, because you just don't know. But nevertheless, you know, I try and support them if I can by buying stuff. We move on to the packaging now. It says ages free plus on the box. I mean, this model of Toby, compared to some models, like, I don't know, say for example Stepney and Oliver, isn't that fragile, so yeah. But anyway, if you look on the back, it shows you some of the other ones you can buy, so like Bill and Ben, as I was saying earlier, who were scratch built, Percy, and then Duck, James, Gordon, and of course Thomas. But yeah, this is a really good box indeed, very well protected. And then there's a see-through bit there, and normally it says the number of the item. However, I seem to have lost it, but I suppose when I was younger I probably might have just got rid of that bit, I don't know. And then obviously when they're brand new as well, normally they're wrapped up in some white sort of paper, just to protect them, but obviously I got rid of that as well. But nevertheless, you know, it's a really good model of Toby. Quite a good box.